welcome. I'm Sean Wright, reporting on behalf of Ringwalk UK Media. I'm joined by Unbeaten professional fighter James Heneghan. James, great to speak with you. How's it going, mate?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, all good, thank you. So you've had some quite exciting news come out over the past 24 hours. Would you like to share that with us?
Yeah, basically we got a call earlier last week saying that, am I ready to fight, and do I want to fight in 3 weeks on Felix Cash, Denzel Bentley undercard. And of course we've been training for like 12 months anyway, and we would have been ready if it was in a week or 2 weeks. So I jump at the opportunity to make me Frank Warren debut and BT Sports debut.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's a good card to be on. There's a few very good upcoming fights, isn't there? And there's also, I think, Callum Johnson is comeback fight as well on the same card. So great opportunity for you to shine, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good platform to make me BT debut on.
Yeah. You're currently 4-0 with a perfect record. How pleased are you with the start that you've made to professional boxing?
Yeah, I'm happy, and it's all about winning at the end, and obviously I've done so every fight. But I think hopefully now I'm starting to come into the end of like fighting the journeyman type of fighters, and after this fight maybe hopefully we get a step up of opponent, because they're the type of people who bring the best out of me when I fight. And sometimes it's quite hard, especially mentally, when you train 6-7 weeks and your opponent's just negative and doesn't want to mix it with you. So because anyone who sort of mix it with me, it suits me more anyway.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you make there, because I've heard a few fighters say the same thing early on in their career. It's really difficult to really try and look good, and I guess we saw a week or so ago with Campbell Hatton how keen he was to impress, and sometimes it's really difficult, isn't it? Especially like you said, when you've got those veterans and those journeymen who know how to navigate around the ring, and they spoil, and they're not very adventurous. So you're looking forward to the bigger tests then, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. But obviously you can't overlook anyone, and you've seen it before. Some of these journeymen can come and they can cause upset. So got to treat every fight like they are coming to do a job on me, and that's the way you got to look going into the fight.
Yeah. There's also a little bit of expectation that people have with knockout percentages. Although you haven't secured the knockouts yet, you can see from your performances that you're a big puncher, and you seem quite big for the weight. Your first 4 fights have been at super middle, is that right?
Yeah.
This fight coming up, is that at middleweight?
Yeah, this one's at middleweight. The plan was originally, we got told we'd be out in May, so I was planning on going down to super welterweight because we have plenty of time, and I can make middleweight easy enough. And so the plan was to go down 2 weights, but obviously because we had a bit of short notice, we thought we'll just make middleweight comfortably, then we'll bring the weight down again and go to super welterweight, because I think the opponents I've had, every time I've hit them, I've hurt them, and they've gone into a bit of a shell where I'm not the type of fighter just to fly at people, throwing hundreds and hundreds of shots and missing. Say, if throw like 60, 50 shots around and miss 30 of them, hitting gloves and arms, I'd rather hit clean with the shots to throw, and I believe that's what I do. So obviously now hopefully we get an opponent who throws a bit more. You start seeing, the power in the punches, and everything we've been working on the last 12 months.
Yeah. As you alluded to there, you've had time to work on a lot of things. It's been a prolonged period of time out for you. Has that been difficult to maintain that motivation and that focus, having not had the opportunity to get out?
You know what? To be honest, it hasn't actually been that hard. It's because I'm only still young. I'm still 22, and in the pro boxing game, it's still young. And if I was a bit older and I was missing out on like a year of big paydays, and maybe I'd see it a different way, or I was coming to the end of my career and missed out on a vital year. But I'm only 4 fights in, and in our gym, there's it's not just pro boxing. We've got pro MMA fighters, pro kickboxers, pro Thai boxers. So the past 12 months, our gym's been busy, and I've like some of them lads have had dates up. We've been in camp with them, and it's easier when you train in the gym where you're constantly enjoying yourself getting in. So it didn't really feel like I was training for nothing, because I was still going in, learning, and then we were still having a laugh, and we got some good sparring in last year. So it was just, obviously it would have been nice to get busy, and I probably would have had 4 or 5 fights last year and maybe been 8-9-0 now, but it is what it is. You can't change it.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned there you're making your debut on BT Sport. Is the plan for the rest of the year to be able to fight again? Would you like to get back out?
When I'd like to get back out as soon as possible. Like, I think we've been told it's May after this if everything goes to plan. So back out then, and then hopefully get another 2-3 and try and make up for lost time a bit.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for you, isn't it? I mean, I think you've been looked after by Alfie Warren, and then you got signed up in November of last year with Frank Warren. That must have been very exciting. Obviously, he's one of the best in the business. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get exposure, and you know the platform on BT Sport. It's exciting times for you, and you've got a decent following already. How excited are you for the next sort of 12, 18 months?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I mean, obviously, I'm before being a boxer, I'm a big boxing fan anyway. So to get signed by someone like Frank, who's the Hall of Fame promoter, and everyone knows Frank Warren. So it was a good feeling. I feel like everything you've done sort of paying off, but obviously can't dwell on it. You got to look to push on to bringing titles now and getting in big fights and showing why you've been signed, and that's what I look to do over the next 12 months.
Yeah. So you've been fighting at super middle and now middle. They're sort of really marquee divisions in boxing, aren't they? And they've got some stellar names when you look back historically at some of the exciting fighters, your Calzaghes or your Bernard Hopkins and Eubank and Ben. Who are the guys that you like watching from yesteryear?
To be honest, from my favourite fights to watch growing up was always Nazim. I just liked his confidence and like his personality in the ring. He done things that you've not really seen before, and that's the reason why so many people liked him, because the stuff you thought not to do, you could do and get away with.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, it brought the excitement.
Yeah. I'm sure you won't mind me making a comparison, but talking of Nazim there, he was quite an awkward style, and you're a very difficult fighter to face yourself. You're a southpaw. You throw sometimes unorthodox or long shots. You're very, very evasive. You're difficult to hit. How would you describe yourself as a boxer?
I like to think of myself as unpredictable, and I think everyone who knows me from when I've been an amateur and coming up anyway know I've been awkward and I can be quite hard to hit. But now we've been working on, like, I can do that, but I can do that on the inside as well. Like, if people watch me spar now, a lot of the time I can stand in front of you with my hands down and get the same movement, and I think it's an awkward one because some people mistake it as me putting my hands down in front of you as a sign of arrogance or overconfidence, but with me, it's my reaction time is a lot quicker than with my hands up, because with my hands down I see everything more. I see the shots, I see the little twitches before you throw a shot, and I think that makes a difference in me being able to react a little bit quicker.
Yeah. What was the catalyst for you to get into boxing as a youngster?
To be honest with you, mate, I weren't the best at football, so boxing was sort of the next step. And my dad had always been around boxing. Like, he'd like going to boxing gym, doing a bit, and so did his mates. And so through that, I sort of just naturally progressed into it. And at first, I wasn't too sure on it, and then I gave it a proper go and just stuck to it ever since.
Yeah. Would you say your style of fighting and things like that have helped you get to the platform you've got to? Because as a professional boxer, I've spoken to quite a few, and it's, unless you've got that sort of stellar amateur pedigree or an Olympic background, or you're a huge ticket seller, really difficult, isn't it? It's quite a difficult market to get into. How did it come about that you got with Alfie Warren and then subsequently promoted by Frank?
To be honest, as I got turned over with my coach, John Gillies, and Four Corners, and he knew Alfie and knew Robert and knew them well, and he said to me, like, I think you should go to these to be a manager, and I did, and they've been spot on with me, and they said after my debut, if I carry on performing like that, they promised me they'll get me signed to Frank, and all I had to do was perform, and so that was really like a little bit of motivation, and to keep performing, keep working on things, and you use that as your drive to get there and get signed. And then obviously I think maybe my style does help because it is unorthodox, so it maybe catches the eye more than your conventional hands up, feet where they should be fighter. But I think that's just down to being a bit different, and some people like the different stuff, and it's clearly paid off.
Yeah. You mentioned there about your style. You're obviously a southpaw fighter as well, so that adds to the mix with other fighters. With you being quite tall, although like you said, you can mix it on the inside. With you being quite long and quite tall, and you're a southpaw, do you think that makes it even more difficult for some of your opponents to sort of get inside that range, and because they've got such a long way to come?
Yeah, definitely. I think no one really likes fighting a southpaw, do they? You hear it all the time about how awkward we are and stuff like that. But I think just the natural advantages the southpaws do have makes it that little bit harder. And
there've been some excellent fighters from Liverpool, James. I'm sure you're fully aware yourself.
Yeah.
Like to John Conti and more recently Tony Bellew and the Smith brothers. How much do you look forward to sort of representing your city and being like one of those top names? Is that something you dream of?
Yeah, it is. But to be honest, I'm not actually from Liverpool. I'm from a little place next to it. But
Okay.
it's obvious. So I think it's still Merseyside though, and obviously you see people like the Smiths doing well, and it's hard not to want to get to that point because they've all reached the top of the sport, and you look at Bellew, he achieved the same, and even more recently, JJ Metcalf boxing Cheeseman in Gibraltar. It's all experiences that you want to have and you want to be a part of as a boxer.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you got a route that you and your management team have spoken about? Is there a route that you plan to take, or is it more about the opportunities that present themselves?
I think it's a bit of both. Me personally, I've always, since I was a kid, I've liked I've liked the idea of getting the belts and picking the belts up along the way. And I think at the minute, while I'm still 22, I'm still eligible to fight for the youth belts, your IBF youth belts, your WBC youth belts, and the kids who are fighting for them have only had 11, 10, 12 fights, and I'm not far off that myself, and I believe I can get in there and beat the kids who are fighting for them as well. Yeah. So I think maybe that's something we can look at, and obviously if any opportunity comes up where, say, Frank Warren and the team get on the phone and they say, we've got you a fight here with another good prospect, and they're the type of opportunities I want. They're the fights you get up for, the fights that you train hard for, because it's a little bit of, it's the adrenaline you get from it, when you're in a good fight, and that's what I look forward to hopefully getting in the near future.
Yeah. Have you spoken to your management about who the opponent will be in a few weeks' time, or are you aware of it yet?
Yeah, I think we've been told it's a lad from the Midlands called Dwayne. I'm not too sure on his last name, but from what I've heard, he should be he does come to win. He should be a bit better than your typical away fighter, and hopefully he does come, and I draw a few more shots off him, and it gives me something. Then he knows I'm in a fight.
Yeah, like you said earlier, when it's early in your career, you've got to remain switched on, I suppose, and when there's that keenness to impress, I suppose it's just about getting the win again, isn't it, and moving on to the next one. Do you think that will be a little bit difficult to do, knowing that the TV cameras are there? You'll be keen to show what you've got.
To be honest, I've never been one to, even when I made my professional debut, it was the first time I boxed in front of most of my friends and even some of my family, and I think some people can hear the noise or see the cameras and go a bit trigger happy, but at the end of the day, I'm there to win, and I'll do it by any way necessary. I don't really care. I could go out, and if I go out and get them out there in one shot, and then that's the outcome, then happy days. But if I go out there and I've got to stick and move, or I've got to break them down in any other way, that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Are you one of these fighters that thrives with the crowd, or would you prefer, are you a bit tunnel vision and you sort of zone out to what's happening around the ring?
To be honest, I love me mates not being there and listening to it, but I never hear nothing when I'm in the ring. So
yeah,
them not being there, it won't really I won't notice any difference from it. But I just like seeing them before and after it.
Yeah. We spoke earlier about it seems boring to talk about it over and over, but the situation with the pandemic and the situation everyone's been in. Was there ever a time where, as time went on and we had another lockdown and then tier systems, did you ever consider this might not be the path for me? Did you ever waver from that thought? Or were you always sort of waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak?
Yeah, I think I always just have my mindset on, like, you know, this is it. This is what I know I'm good at. This is what, you know, I put so much time and effort into, and, you know, a lot of my life into, and I didn't really see any other outcome than just wait for my chance to come, and now it's starting to come and it's paying off.
Great stuff. I'm just going to put you on the spot briefly. Every interview we've been doing, we've been asking about the upcoming, possibly impending fight between Fury and Joshua. I just wondered, as a pro boxer and with your sort of analytical mind, how would you see that big fight going?
To be honest, I'd just see Fury winning. I don't know how he wins, but he wins. And that's just because of his mindset. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think obviously Anthony Joshua is a very you know, he's big, he's strong, he's proved he's a world champion. He's proved that how good his determination is by coming back and beating Ruiz after getting knocked out. But I just think Fury's different. I think the way he thinks is different. The things he's overcome's different. And he doesn't know how to lose, and which he's proved.
You think he might win it before they step in the ring?
Yeah, I think so.
Interesting. Well, all that remains, James, is for me to wish you the best on behalf of Ringwalk UK Media, and I thank you for your time, mate. And we'll be tuning in, and you'll have all of our support. So all the best in the future, mate.
Thank you, mate.
All right, no problem. Take care. Thanks a lot, bud.